All right, so let me talk about the Titans and the Buffalo Bills Monday Night Football game. I wasn't expecting a blowout. I thought Tennessee would put up a fight. However, I did think Buffalo would win, and I was wrong. So I remember last year Tennessee beat Buffalo, and it also has a lot to do with just simply the Monday Night crew just could not stop showing the highlight of Derrick Henry, stiff arm, and Josh Norman. Poor Josh Norman. It's like one thing that happened in his entire career, and then that is like his highlight. So that's not working out for him. So Josh Norman was the biggest loser last night, in my opinion, just because we kept having that replay on our minds because they showed it like 15 times. Monday Night Crew, they're just terrible. I don't know why Peyton Manning and Eli Manning couldn't commentate last night or Monday night, whenever you watch this. But anyway, that was annoying. I don't know. I usually just mute it and I start doing play by play myself. It's a lot of fun actually. So let me talk about some things. First of all, as many of you may or may not know, Josh Allen is one of my favorite players in the league, and I consider him to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I've been a fan since like he was coming out of Wyoming, and he played amazing last night. He was precise. He's able to run. He was making great throws, and towards the end of the game, there he was driving his team downfield. He was making every throw, and I remember watching a play. I was like, I saw him rolling out of the pocket, and pressure was coming. I was like, okay, Josh, you have to get rid of the ball here. And I thought he might throw it away, but instead he made a perfect throw across his body, and went all the way like that, and completed it to, I believe it was to Emmanuel Sanders, and it got them inside the 20-yard line. It's just an amazing play, and that brought us down, and then they had about a 4th and 1, and we'll get back to that in a bit. So, but Josh Allen was absolutely phenomenal. He's the best quarterback in the league right now, and it's not particularly close. And of course, I'm not saying he's better than Patrick Mahomes all time. Obviously, he's not remotely better than Tom Brady. I think Josh Allen's probably the 5th best quarterback in the league overall. But that his this season, he would be my pick for most valuable player as a quarterback. He's not the most valuable player in the league. The most valuable player in the league right now is one man named Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is in a league of his own right now. Here's like Derrick Henry, every other running back. It's insane. He is at 783 yards through 6 games. That's almost 800 yards. So he's averaging over 100 yards a game, and he has 10 touchdowns. So he's averaging close to about 120. Let's see if I do the math. Six. He's averaging 130 yards a game, and then to top that, 10 touchdowns and almost 2 touchdowns a game. This is insane. Derrick Henry, I could go back to back with 2,000 yards. He's unstoppable. Literally, no one can tackle him. He scored 3 touchdowns last night. All of Tennessee's touchdowns are on the ground, by the way. Ryan Tannehill also had one. I'm going to give some credit to Ryan Tannehill. I mean, statistically speaking, if you just look at the stats, his numbers aren't that great, but that's also because they run the ball a lot. Ryan Tannehill has been good this year. I still think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So I'm going to give him credit. The Titans are 4-2. I don't think they would be like 0-6 without Derrick Henry, and I think Ryan Tannehill has a lot to do with that. But right now, Derrick Henry is without a doubt the reason the Titans have a win in record. They are the best team in the AFC South. Their defense is still absolutely atrocious, though. They don't create pressure, and they can't cover anybody. It's really bad. Also, their starting corner, their first round pick this year, Caleb Farley, he went down with a torn ACL, so he's out for the year. So that insult to injury. Tennessee needs to add a star pass rusher. Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive tackle, is really good, but they need someone to actually get after the quarterback. So that's a problem. Also, Tennessee, their starting left tackle Taylor Lewan, he went down with an injury, so now they're out without their starting left tackle, and that's going to be a problem. But yeah, I don't know if Julio Jones. I think he played. I don't know if he played. He played last night. Yes. Okay. AJ Brown, I believe, was out, but a lot of these things don't come directly back to me. Um, but yeah, it was a great game. If you didn't listen to the commentary, and overall it was phenomenal. And I want to talk about the end of the game decision. So at the end of the game, it was about four. It was 4th and 1. Buffalo had one timeout left, and it was a 3-point game. It was 34-31. It was 4th and 1, and then the Bills had a decision to make. Sean McDermott, he could bring out the kicker, and or he could go for it, and he decided to go for it. And I absolutely loved that call. I remember saying at the time, it's like, you go for this, Josh Allen. I was saying, thinking, you can run a draw where it's like you run a play action to the running back and take it yourself. You can make a throw, or you can hand it off to the running back. So you got an RPO going. That would be a good option. Also, you could just run a quarterback sneak. You have an under center, jump over the middle. Josh Allen is incredibly athletic. He jumps over people all the time. So those are the options, and Buffalo made the right call. I know a lot of people are upset about this now because, it was a 3-point game and they could have tied the game. Why would you want to tie and go to overtime? Let's say you do take the tie and then you go to overtime and you lose the coin toss. Tennessee gives it to Derrick Henry. The game's over. He runs people over. They had not been able to stop him at all that day. So why would you take that risk? I know I would not. I think it was an easy decision, and Josh Allen, he sneaked it, and then Jeffrey Simmons, Brian Dawkins missed the block, the starting left tackle, and Jeffrey Simmons came in and tackled Josh Allen, and he was short, and the Titans had an upset victory, and it was a great job by the Titans. I know they were massive underdogs. And I still don't think anybody respects the Tennessee Titans for some reason. They lost to the Jets a few weeks back, which is always embarrassing. Anytime anybody loses to the Jets, they should feel terrible because the Jets are awful. But, they bounced back next week against Jacksonville, and then they really gave Buffalo a run for their money and ended up winning the game. It was a huge victory. But, with that decision, I remember Sean McDermott at the end of the game, during his post-game interview, he said, I believe in Josh Allen, and I would go with Josh Allen 10 times out of 10. So he did not second-guess the decision at all. And I love that from Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott's an elite head coach. And, it's a game-time decision, and I fully support it. I think everyone should support it. Always go for it. I don't like it when teams try to go for a tie. I remember against the Jets back a few weeks. I think the Titans were trying to tie the game. And, as a result, they lost, so... But here we got the Bills. They decided, no, we're not going to tie it. We're going to go for it, and we're going to win this game. On the road, and it would have been, if they get it, it's a huge moment for them, and it's a big victory. But, they didn't get it, and, that's okay. They all bounce back next week. I still think the Bills are the best team in the AFC. It's going to be interesting if they go to the Super Bowl. I'm also 100% certain they'll be in the AFC title game, but the Super Bowl is an interesting situation. However, based on that game alone, my biggest takeaways are Josh Allen's absolutely elite. Sean McDermott made the right call at the end, and Derrick Henry is without a doubt the MVP of the 2021 season.